What's up, everybody? Jeff Bernard with Solve Systems, and today we're going to learn how to automate the 3 webhooks from Paylocity for created user, an updated user, and a terminated user into Logic Apps on Microsoft's platform, process those events, and then perform actions within Entra. So follow along, and we'll get this going right now. So jumping straight into Logic Apps, we're going to go through how this works, right? So we'll give you a high-level overview. This is a pretty big Logic app, right? And this is the entire thing. So this is all of our branching conditions, and we're going to go through each one of those. So zooming back in, we have our webhook right here, and this is what we're going to give Paylocity. We'll give them the same webhook for all 3 endpoints. Make it very nice and simple. That's why we've combined this over time. And so then we set our XPath trigger length. We basically get the body of what's coming in, right? And then we have to set an @ symbol. We're going to use that in our call to Entra because you're not able to add this into the body. You have to add it as a variable. It's just a way that things work with Logic Apps. The same is with the dot, and we'll show you how that's used. We're going to use the company ID, so the company ID coming in to the Logic app, the company domain. So we're using this because we're testing this within our tenant. We're going to set a UPN. This will be the username for the user, a department string, first name check, AD check, and manager UPN. Right? So we're going to have our user UPNs. That's what those are for. So we're going to post our token here, and we're going to get our information. So that'll get us our token, and this is the create update branch. So these are going to be what we're going to do first, and then we're going to move into the terminate part, right? So we get the hook user data. So this is for the webhook, right? We're able to get all these parameters. We're going to compose the UPN. So this is going to be composed of the employee first name, the dot that we mentioned, the employee last name, the @ symbol, and then the company domain, right? This will give us all of the details we need to set our UPN. Something to think about here is that your name construction or your email name construction might look different at every company. So this could be specifically set up to your company, right? Then we're going to add a variable, and we're going to replace the outputs of that variable with some parentheses. We're then going to get the employee. So this is the sandbox API, and the company ID, employees, and the employee ID. So we're calling the employee from this endpoint. We're then going to parse the employee. So the schema, and you can generate this in Postman, right, to be able to get that schema set up. And we're going to set the first name. So we're going to do a check here, if preferred name. So some companies want to use preferred name over the first name, right? So that's where we'll set it. If this is equal to nothing, if there's not a preferred name, then we're going to use the first name. And this is on creating the employee, right? So then we'll go compose the employee first name or preferred name right here. And we'll show you how to use that in a second. And then we'll get the cost center. So the cost center is going to be specific to the company. Some people use their departments as the cost center. It's really going to be sort of up to the company on how that's set up. And if you're integrating this, you'll probably know how your company is set up. We're going to parse the departments. So that'll give us that. And then we're going to get the department by the code. So many customers, like I mentioned, they use the department as cost center too. So we're going to be getting that ID and from the employee object, and then we're going to be measuring that against the department cost center. So we'll be able to set that variable here. We're going to loop through it. We have to loop through it here, the filter, because it's an array. And it's actually only going to return one thing. And then that will be the description of that integer. So the department code is going to be an integer. Then we'll filter out the actual name of the department. And then that'll be set for the department. Right here, we're checking the length. So within Paylocity API, you have three different endpoints, right? You have the terminate endpoint, you have the create, update, and terminate endpoints. So we'll look at those here and can show you that we have these three endpoints. This endpoint is about 29 fields. That's the created. The change endpoint is 2 fields, right? And then the terminated endpoint, I think, is like, 8 fields or 9 fields, right? So we're measuring this, and we're going to create our condition based off of that. So if it is 29 and that's true, we're going to check. We're going to go in and start doing some processing here. We're going to make sure that our user check is not empty. And then we're going to check the current item. So there's 2 names that we put together, preferred name, first name. We're going to go and check Entra for those users first, right? And then based on the status code being 200, right, because it'll show a 404. If not, and then it'll show a 200 if the employee isn't Entra. When we want to check that before creating user, because obviously we don't want to create multiple users. So then we want to set the AD check to true, and we're going to check that condition. So if the AD check is true, then we're going to terminate the name check. If it's not, then we're going to run on to create the user. So we get all these fields from this API call to the Microsoft Graph, and we get the supervisor data. So this is getting the manager. We set the manager's UPN, and then we send an approval email with all of this information. So we send an approval email for the email, the job title, location, manager. This can be configured to however you want it to be configured. If this approval check is true, meaning this user is approved to be created, it's sent to IT. So IT has sent all these details. It creates the user within Entra. We set the UPN for the manager. We update these other fields for the user. Then we update their manager. And this is where the variables come into play, because you can't have an @ symbol in this request body. I'm not quite sure why that is. It's just the case. I found it to be kind of a quirk of all of this. And so we add that in here, and then we make our request. And then we can post that to the manager update. And that will add the manager to the user. And then we post the hiring date, because this is what some people want. They may or may not want this. Other fields are configurable with Entra extensions, and those can be determined by your organization. We then create the user, and we send their manager an email. So we can send this to IT or the manager, and this will be a temporary password, right? So we create a temporary password and send that. Conversely, if this approval doesn't check out, then we terminate this. So we'll go back up and look at the update branch. If the trigger length is not 29, right, then we will update the user. And so we get the user, we update the manager, we update approval mail, we check the condition. If this is approved, then we update the user. If not, then we don't update the user. Going over to the terminate branch. So this is equal to 10, right? So the terminate has a specific number of fields in the terminate condition. So we check those field lengths. And then we terminate the user. We parse their data. We get the user from AD. And we're using the employee ID method. You would need to sync up all the employees with Paylocity, which is something we can handle. and then we want to terminate the user here. So we get the employee, we get their termination, and we parse the employee, and then we terminate the user. And this just blocks them disabling their account. So this is a high-level view of how to do a full operation syncing to Paylocity with Microsoft Logic apps. So we can actually test all of this in Postman. And the way to do that is we have 3 webhooks here, and we're going to simulate the Paylocity webhooks. So we're going to send this request, and we're going to go into Logic Apps, and we can see that it is processing. So we'll go there, and we will we'll get an email, and we'll see that Joseph Hatch has been approved. So great, we have him approved, and then we can see here Joseph Hatch has been created. Pretty cool. So let's test the updated webhook. We'll make sure that we have the same employee ID, and we'll go, all right, we do, and we'll update the user. So we can see in Logic Apps that that'll be running right now. And we can see an update user request has been created. And so the reason for the failure in Logic Apps that you're seeing is the user doesn't have a city. In Paylocity, in the sandbox, right? So in your live scenario, they will. So that user was approved, and then they get updated in Entra. So then we'll go and test the termination webhook. And we'll make sure that this is set up, and then we'll send our request. So we'll go and make sure that this user is locked out. So we see that we terminated the user, and we had account disabled, and we wanted that to happen, and so now the account is disabled. So the account was enabled and created, and now the account is disabled from sending the termination webhook. So we covered create a user, update a user, terminate a user. If you have any further questions, feel free to reach out to me. We'd love to develop this for you and offer any assistance in any stage of development that you're at. Like and subscribe to our channel so you can get notifications of future updates, and we look forward to talking to you soon. Have a good one.